G'day guys, Alvin Pyle here from Adventuring Piles, and today in this video I'm going to be showing you how to DIY install a UHF. I'm going to install the aerial, and actually because I'm installing my aerial on the headboard up here, my cable is a bit short, so I have to extend it by just about a meter. I'm going to show you that, show you how to mount it inside and how to run it from the battery and all of that good stuff. Now, I'm not a professional, I'm a Sparky, but a house Sparky, so it's a bit different, but I have been installing UHF and aerials in all of my four-wheel drives, and in fact this UHF that I have, this is the third car that I'm installing the same head unit on. I have changed the aerial for this one because I'm going for a headboard mount to keep a shorter aerial. Anyways guys, it's very simple, hope you guys can follow along nicely, and let's get started. Alright guys, so I've already made a bit of a start before I started filming this video, but I'll catch you guys up pretty quickly. Now this is a bracket that I can fold down. It's not a GME or a Uniden brand one. This is a AirPro, AERPRO. I got it from super cheap. They were selling it for like $120 or something like that, but I saw it online for, I think it was at $70, and super cheap price matched it for me, so that was awesome. And so the aerial, which is a Uniden, like a AT380, there you go, 3 dBi aerial, and to mount the fold down bracket onto my headboard, I've just used a stainless steel right angle bracket. The guys at I forget where I bought it from, wherever I bought it from, stainless steel one, they reckon that should be alright to take the weight of the bracket and the aerial. It's only a short aerial, so it's not a lot of weight on there. So I've simply just taken that screw out that held that piece there onto the headboard roll bar. I drilled a hole in the bracket, screwed it back on, and put 2 extra screws in there, and that bracket just screws straight into that existing hole in there. So now I'm going to run my aerial cable down the headboard in a bit of split conduit down the chassis and into the engine bay, and that's where I'll have to join the cable because that's as far as it goes. Alright, I'll run the cable and I'll show you guys afterwards. Yeah guys, by the way, the reason I'm installing it on the headboard, the aerial, is because on my Triton GLS, they don't recommend putting any aerials or anything on the front of the bull bar because it can interfere with the cameras, all that safety stuff. So even though I have seen other cars do it, and I probably will get away with it, I thought I'd just put it up there. I've always wanted to try it on the headboard anyway, so it's a good reason for me to do it. Alright, let's get on with it. Okay guys, just a quick update. I've got, so you can see, the cable's there. Now that is enough length that when I fold it down, it still gives a nice little loop. It's all good. And that's why I got this bracket too. I can do it one-handedly. The other Uniden or GME bracket was on the other side, so it'd be a bit weird for me. Anyways, so I've got the cable tie, just one up there, one down there, and then, now I haven't done this before in any of my other runs, I just decided to do it with this one. Show ya. Cable comes down there and it goes into the chassis. So I ran the cable into the chassis, so it's in the chassis all there. It comes out just there. Yeah, so I ran it all in the chassis, comes out up there, and I'll show you what it looks like in the engine bay. Oh man, it is a hot day out here in the Queensland sun. Anyways, so that's the cable there. That's as far as I can get it. Now I gotta extend that in through that grommet there, if you can see it. And then that will take me to underneath the pedals, which is where I've got the UHF mounted, and I'll show you that in a sec. I should have showed you how to do the join in a nicer area, but nonetheless I can still show you how to do the join here, and I'll do that. Right guys, I'm just going to show you how this joiner works. Now you'll have to excuse me, my fingers bloody broke off my GoPro mount there, so I can't put it on a tripod at the moment, so I'm just going to have to hold it and show you what I got. Anyways, I got 2 of these guys, which is just the plug you can plug in. The aerial cable goes into there, screws onto there, solder the tip onto there, and then you can put that into the back of your UHF. Or what I've got is this joiner piece, and then so that will join onto my existing, the one that comes with the aerial, because the aerial's already fitted off with a nice screw bit on the end of the cable, so that will screw onto there. So this is what normally would plug straight back into the UHF. So that will go into one side of the joiner, and then from the other side of the joiner will be one end of the cable extension, and then the other side of the cable will be the new end that goes into the UHF. So once I've done all that, I'll show you guys. Yeah, so it just screws on to the, once you strip it all back and everything, screw that onto the sheath, and then the tip will come out onto there, and you can just dab a little bit of solder to keep it nice and secure. All right, I'll do that and I'll show you guys what it looks like. All right guys, so I'm going to run the cables through the firewall now. Instead of running just the power cable, I'm going to run an 11 cord trailer wiring cable, and even though the cores are small, I can double up or even triple up the cables to get me the power for the UHF. I do that because in later, if I want to run a spotlight or light bar or other stuff, I can use that for switching the relays in the engine bay, so the wires are already put in there. I'm gonna run it through this grommet here. It's just down there, so I haven't done it before in this car obviously, so I'm going to show you a little trick to do that. Let's get into it. Alright guys, I've got my hook wire here, which I'm going to use to penetrate that grommet, and I've already checked the inside of the grommet to make sure there's not going to be any cables in the way, because if you piece the cable and damage a cable, that's a very expensive repair. So wish me luck. I'm going to put the camera down for this bit because I'm gonna need to finesse this a bit. I don't want to be holding the camera and making a buggery of it. Righto. Okay, so I've got it through, bit of a pop through there to that grommet, and I'm going to just check the inside to make sure it's all clear before I attach my cable. Hope you can see that guys, there's that hook wire. Now for the hook wire, I'm just using a bit of fencing wire. You can use a metal coat hanger, straighten it out and use that. That's what I've done in the past. All right, and now I'm going to show you how I attach the cable, and I'm going to pull it from the engine bay side into the cabin. Okay guys, so I've got the wire going through, taped up my coaxial first. I've just taped the back of it up in case I have to pull it back, won't get snagged. Then I've got a little bit later, I've got the rest of the trail cabling going in. That way it shouldn't have too much pressure in that hole at any one time. I might get my wife to give me a hand to feed it in while I pull it through. Slide it in? Yep. Going in still? Okay guys, I'm about to do one of these connections. I've just found a head strap for the GoPro, so I'll chuck that on and hopefully it works out alright. I don't know how the audio is going to go while I've got it on my head, so if it doesn't work out I'll just have to voice over it, which is no big issue. Now I've got to warn you, it's been a few years since I've had to do this. What we do in houses with coax is totally different, but same principle really. The core's got to go into the pin, and then the sheath goes into to make that earth. So anyways, I'll get into it and see what it's like, and I'll show you guys too so you can do it yourself. Let's go. Okay guys, sorry about the shadows. Hopefully that looks all right. That's what's got to happen. We've got to get that into there. Let's strip it back a little bit. Just be careful not to go too far in here. God, I hope this works out all right. Okay, so you can see that sheath there. That will be your earth. All right. And that core, which I've pulled way too much of, that will be your the pin that we are soldered on. Give me pliers, I reckon. I don't reckon I'll get it with my... I don't want to go too deep because you don't want to nick the strands. It's multi-strand coax. So that will be through the pin into there. Bit of solder on there. She's good to go, but I think I've pulled the core out too much, so I'll have to try and push it back in somehow. All right, that was a mish. Don't judge me on my soldering skills, guys. It's been a while. Yep, she's hot. And I'm just gonna cut that under the cable off and she'll be done. Yo, it's hot here, man. Okay guys, don't judge me on that solder, that was horrible. My good old trusty gas soldering iron is playing up because I haven't used it in probably a year or so, and she's already about a few years old, so she needs replacing. But it's enough to do the job. It just takes me a bit more effort to clean it up, so it'll go into that joiner. Anyways, that's how you do the soldering connection on the coax cable. Also, in case you missed it there, I just used a bit of scrap sheet there to protect the engine bay from when I'm using that soldering iron, so I don't cause a fire in there by accident. That will be disastrous. Anyways guys, now we're just going to put the joiner in and then we'll get into the 12 volt side of it, eh? Okay guys, just realized I forgot to show you guys how I mounted the UHF. Anyways, there's the car there and I've just mounted it down here. It's got an external speaker, but it's also got a speaker built into the microphone. It's a Uniden, what is it, UH760NP. I've had this for a good few years. There's a bracket there and I've just screwed the bracket straight into the plastic there, just some self-taper screws, and then screwed the units to the bracket. Yeah, that was it, not much to it really. This way works really good. I find that this way works really good. I've had it in my last two cars like this, because you get the speaker from the unit and from the handpiece itself, so it's nice and loud enough. Anyways, as you can see, the 12 volt side of it is done. I've doubled it up, even though it probably didn't need to be doubled up, because the cable size in the back of the unit, the UHF from factory, was pretty much the same size core as the trailer plug. But I have doubled it up just to make sure there's going to have enough power going to it. It's got the fuse there already as well on the UHF that came from factory. I'm going to leave that on there and I'm going to put another fuse in the engine bay as well. I'm just going to finish tidying it up in here before I move on to the engine bay, so I'm done out of here in case we have to go somewhere before I can finish off the engine bay. But as far as you guys will know, I'll be doing the engine bay right now. Right guys, now I'm not gonna lie to you, it's actually been a couple of days since I was shooting the last part of this video where I was installing my UHF. I kind of got distracted that afternoon, went to the beach with the kids, and then the next day we went fishing and it was an epic day. We caught heaps of fish, good time. It's going to be a video on that, so if you're interested in that, make sure you subscribe to the channel for that. I'll put a picture up of what we caught. It was awesome. Anyways, I think all I had left to do was power up, get the 12 volt side of the UHF going, and I've done that already. When I did it, it was a bit dark, so the footage is probably not going to be any good anyway. But there's the cable there. You can see there's that trailer plug cable, just cable tied it along with some of the other factory wiring loom in there, and it comes out to here. Simple as, the same colors as before. I put it in there, the negative straight into the terminal here, and the positive side, well, the positive side, what I've done is, because I know from previous experiences in all my cars, I end up having so many different things come in here. You normally have the UHF, spotties or light bar, and God knows what else. So what I've done is I've just put in a 6-block fuse holder. I'll just show you in there. Yeah, so I've just wired in that 6-block holder, and as simple as, I just put it straight onto the terminal there, put a fuse in there, and that's it. Simple as that. And if I want to install any other things, I can go straight into that block. 6 should be plenty enough, because I'm trying to minimize what I have in this car to try and keep the weight down, because as it is, I've got a GVM upgrade already, and with my last car I was pushing even that. So guys, like I said, I've got a Uniden unit in there. It's pretty old already. It's about 7 years old. I don't even know if you can get him anymore, but I'm not going to bother changing it because it's been working fine the whole time. It's the remote head. It's been really good for me, so I'm not going to bother changing it, save myself a bit of coin. And yeah, so you can see it's pretty easy to do yourself. I hope you guys can find this video helpful. And if you have any questions, please just ask me in the comments below, or hit us up on our Facebook or Instagram or something like that. And yeah, hope you guys found it useful and you can do it yourself too. It's pretty easy. You don't need a lot of tools. I think the only thing that's going to really be different between models of cars is how you run your cable and how you penetrate the firewall to get into the cabin, and where you mount the UHF. Alright guys, that's me, Alvin Powell from Adventuring Pals, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya! Okay guys, one more thing I thought I would mention. If you notice on that video, I have got my power cable going straight to the battery, which obviously means that my UHF is going to be on all the time. Now, you can put it on the switch if you want. I don't really bother because my head unit has a power button and it turns it all off, which is all good. And if I really want to isolate it, that fuse is really easy to pull out, just the blade fuse. And some people also run it off accessories. If you want to do that, you can. I have in the past tapped off the back of the cigarette lighter so that your UHF comes on when you put your accessories on. Personally, I prefer my UHF to be on battery just because I've been on the site before where we had camp and you kind of like looking out or listening out for your mate to come into camp and then call you on the radio, so for whatever reason, so you can tell them what site you're on or something like that. So from my past experience, that's why I've done that, just so you don't have to have the car on accessories all the time. This is my personal preference. You guys can do it however you like. That's it, yeah. So I think this should be the real end of the video. Thank you very much for watching, guys. See you in the next one. Thank you for spending your precious time watching our video. We are a family with 2 young kids, and we have been working and traveling our way around Australia since March 2019. We share with you our trips so you can see that it's very possible to travel with young kids. We also share with you some tips that we've learned along the way, making traveling with kids a little bit easier. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channel for future videos we upload every week. Thank you very much, and see you.